Hello everyone and welcome to another AFK journey video. My name is Jedediah and we're doing our latest video in our video clash series. So this is game 2, round 2, and we're taking on the Shire, Slayer, and Domain. And we had a good round. Let's watch the replay. I'm gonna try to zoom out and you can see the major battles are on these here. It's going to be a major battle, and then down here I believe is the other major battle, but this one is going to be a lopsided one, this one right here where I just won Mightiest Vanguard. And there's going to be some interesting streaking on all three of those tiles, so it should be fun to watch. So let's zoom back out and we can see that they're putting the siege magic here. It looks like we're going to end up with 3,699, and it looks like the Shire is going to have 4,867. So we're at a deficit, and we're at a high deficit against Domain right here, 700 to 2,476. You can see there's a three-way fight down here as well, but we had already had an advantage there. But we're coming from behind here and here. And we're actually fighting here and here, but there were never any really danger. We just won that one. We just captured that one. And now these are the ones that are really in danger. This one, it looks like it's going to be fine, but these two are pretty even. I mean, we're very lopsided here, but this one is the one I like the most because it was just complete dominance by me and a couple of my guildies, and we had 7 teams there and we lost 3, I think, to take it. So we had some good dominance over Domain in that tile, and as you can see, we're getting a good comeback win versus the Shire here because we were at a deficit. And there's a Momosuke getting a 7-win streak, and we're going to talk about those streaks when we get in there. And I was looking at the results before I did this video, and I was trying to figure out who an MVP would be, and I can't figure out who it would be because there's so much good streaking from everybody in the guild. It's just an all-around great job to everybody. We're working very, very well as a team. In fact, I'd say this is the best team win that I've ever seen in my history of BTGM. So, yep, there it goes. And you can see we've taken the whole right side of the battlefield, pretty much. Then we're going to do our trials for the stages. We end up with 240s here and here. And then we're doing the best we can on those other 3 tiles, but we're at a deficit here and here for sure. I think we get a pretty good total here. And the Shire is, you can see the Shire is taking over the entire left side of the battlefield. And we'll talk about our enemies first and their battles before we dive into mine. I don't want to focus on just my guild, I want to show everything. So, yeah, we're going to end up with 14 there, 15 there, 37, and then 240s. So that's good. Not bad at all. And as you can see, the totals now in this round. Right, we've gone up to 1219. Domain is at second, 550. The Shire's at 423, but they do control more of the board. And Slayer is at 212. So Slayer is kind of boxed in at this point. It's going to take a real strong play from them to get out of there somehow against here or here. Yeah, so for that round, you can see round 1 we were at 293. Round 2 we're up to 1219. And let's take a look at this top tile here first. You can see that Domain had 31 teams and Slayer only threw 5 on there, so it literally only took them 1 team to get through it. So you can see their skirmish fight. They had Bonnie Tassie taking out their low level. It's just Slayer is just not on the level of the other 2 guilds. They're just not going to be able to compete. So as you can see, 2-win streak from Ellie, and then a 3-win streak from Rogue closes it out, right? And then they're on to their trial guards. On this tile, it was, you know, a little more even, but I mean, we're not a lot of teams here, and 1 team from the Shire was all they needed, and they took out the rest of the Slayers group because the Slayer is just not on the Paragon level of the other 2 guilds, and the other 2 guilds are not on the Paragon level of BTGM. So, at least not what I was seeing. So let's take a look. Siren group, Lightbearer versus Mauler group. Cool. But the Mauler group just didn't have a chance really. And then it looks like the Meg got a 6-win streak with his Siren group, and Alleyway Jack closed it out with his Tassie group. Okay, Pandora Tassie. Excuse me. Alright, and then they went into the current skirmish. Let's take one last look at the one tile that we didn't have anything to do with. The Shire's just 12 of 12. They didn't compete against anybody, as you can see. And they went straight to the trial stage. Where do we want to start at? Let's start at the least contested one, I believe. So we had 10 teams. They had 3 from Domain. There wasn't even a skirmish. And then it looks like May and Cataracts were the only people that even got to fight. And it was closed out by Cataracts with a 2-win streak. And then we went into the floor clearing and tried to take out the first 7 levels with ease. It was pointed out to me yesterday by my guildmates that, you know, hey, you might want to point out the fact that these streaks at the beginning are a lot easier to get because look at the trial guard levels. Like, they start at 294 million and then they just ramp up, right? They ramp up till it gets to 666 million, 711 million, you know, but right there at the 609, 666 is where Yantron finally gets beat because his stamina is so low at that point and the power has ramped up so high that it's impossible for him to win at that point. And so if you have a high-powered team, it's easier to get, you know, 6, 7, 8, 9 streak, maybe longer. Like Say was getting 9s, I think, on when I was talking about yesterday. And then after that, you know, if you get anything 3 or more on a streak, that's really good. After those power levels, once you hit the levels 10 or so, or 8, 9, 10. Anyway, so we saw the way that went down there. I'm going to save those top 2. I think this one was least contested. But yeah, we're going to take a look at Alleyway Jack versus Ike here. And then, obviously, it was his Marcel that took him out. There's really not much to show here. His Marcel is literally just going to, boom, dead. See you later. Right? Alleyway Jack did not stand a chance. Against his Marcel, and then we had just literally, like, we had 20 teams, they only had the 1, and then essentially what they were doing was trying to get some skirmish points, essentially. So Alleyway Jack went down there and it's like, hopefully I can take out one of their dudes. He didn't know he's running into Ike, and Ike said, I don't think so, bro. Anyway, but yeah, here's what I'm talking about, where he gets to 6 million, 711 million, so Ike made it a little further, but I mean, he's literally on empty, 0. So he got a win on a 0 stamina. Let's take a look at that real quick. He's got his tailing group. I mean, they were on 0 stamina on that fight, right?
Nothing to be afraid of.
And they still got the win. Pretty cool. But I mean, obviously, that's not against a person. That's against the trial guards. But yeah, and then Immortal. So you're getting some good streaks. Those 4, anything of 3 or 4 or more is a solid streak at this point, right? So Ike, me, Ike again, M-Dom. Which group was that from me? Sorry, I'm more curious about my own groups. Oh, that's my cryo group. This is back to a more traditional cryo group. I used to use Aliseth and cryo together, and with a Thorin tank. And Dom gets a 2. That's solid at this level, right? He's getting 2-win streaks against 825 million, and that's the max, right? It looks like 825 is the maximum. Yuden gets a double streak on that. All right, so now we get to the more interesting squares. We're gonna start down here, and as you can see, we had 20 teams. Slayer had 14. Domain had 8. Right? So no Shire here, but we did get a 3-way battle for skirmish. And Say's Marcel wiped the floor with them. Let's take a look at that, see if they instantly blow up the way I did against Alleyway Jack. And he's running a slightly different variant than Ike's, and as you can see, it's just like instant death. His Marcel is just so strong in any variation. It's almost not even fair the way Say play, or the way Marcel plays. There's the second Vanguard fight, and they last a little bit longer, but not much. As you can see, Marcel just wipes them up. It's no big deal for Marcel to take anybody down, especially when they're at a deficit. As you can see, Say's is 543 million, and he's going up against a 462 and a 425. It just wasn't no chance for either one of those teams to survive. But this might be interesting to watch these two go at it. So let's see the Baddest versus Kato. Let's take it off speed. They got to mix it up pretty good. But no one's in any real danger here at the bottom, right? I think he's already killed some people too. His Bonnie goes off, his Shamira goes off. And that finishes it up right there.
I have prevailed.
So as we can see, there was never any real danger for Kato there. It seemed like he kind of dominated that look. And it seems like, let's see who was the higher power there. Yeah, so that makes sense. He was 462 versus 425, so he was at a power deficit for sure. And then we get Meg and a nice 5-win streak to start it on against the other groups. And you can see he's taking out Slayer Domain, because it's just rotating back and forth. So great job to Mia for that streak and running the Bonnie Tassie. Let's take a quick look at that last win before she got defeated. Get them all grouped up. Seismic's going off. Lily May's doing her thing. Citrana's going to do a little fire dance. Then they get their Lily May prepping. But it's already too late at that point. Even though they lost Iron, they're at a real deficit.
I'll take care of it.
Bonnie's going to ult. They have lost Citrana, so this is a little closer now. So it's 2v2, I believe, at this point. Tassie versus the other two. It's so close. But Tassie's gonna ult one more time. And it's gonna take out both of them. Boom. See you later. Nice.
Nothing to be afraid of.
That was a nice close match. Of course, Mia was at a deficit at that point. So we'll skip straight to melee. Yeah. Alright, so anything else worth showing here? So Boss goes on a 5-win streak. Let's see. It's a Bonnie Tassie. We just watched one of those. Or I'd show that one off. Sorry, Boss. Kato gets a 2-win streak. And see, the whole point of this is the more you streak, the more you can take out a deficit. So let's look at the top again, right? So we had 20 teams. So they needed to streak against us to get a win. Because we had an advantage there. And we're the ones streaking, not them, is the problem. So, and then Smith gets a 3-win streak for us. The Shamira. Anything worth seeing? Smith closes them out with a nice 6-win streak with Bonnie Tassie. So not a lot of interesting stuff to see there. Say gets the 8-win streak that time with Cryo against the Trial Guards. 3-3, and then my group, my experimental stuff, gets a 4 with my Kulu group with Zany and Siren. So it's unfortunate I didn't get to see it go against any players. I would like to try that out a little bit. I'm unsure of how strong it is. It's built to try to take out everything, including Marcel, but I have run into some issues with Marcel. Excuse me. Say he gets a 3-win streak. Alright, let's forget the Trial Guards, because we got some more interesting stuff to show off up here. So we've showed off most of this one. Had some good streaks there, mainly from, let's see, who was it again? Yeah, Mia and Boss doing most of the work there. And then Smith closed it out. So just great job by all three of those guys. Just dominating that tile on the bottom. So let's, this one is the most lopsided. I want to save it for last. Plus it's me, and of course I like to talk about me. But anyway, here is my skirmish fight that I got to do, one of the 3-way rather. And we're going up against a 544 million, just to point out that these guys are at a deficit. You know, it's going to take a really strong group to beat my guys. And they're at 458 and 437 from the Shire and Domain. So let's take a look at the first one, the baddest. Yeah, it's my Marcel group. So this is a weird Marcel group. I don't think anyone else is running this particular group. It's like a stall group / control group. Plus, hey, I'm going to straight up nuke you with Marcel. So even if you kill Marcel, I'm trying to control you with Mahira right off the bat. And then Seda, Athalia, and Damien are going to just basically stall you out and win. Typically, against almost any group that I have tested against. So we'll see. Let's take a quick look at that. See what happens. But they instantly implode because Marcel says, I don't think so. Which is basically what I expected at a power deficit that they are at. Let's take a look at the other fight, and then we'll take a look at the fight between the two of them. So me versus Moonlight. Other people get involved here, so this could be interesting. So my Mahira gets to group them up a little bit. Athalia gets to do a little bit of damage. There they go. They're still alive. They're still alive. And then you saw Athalia slice through them. And then Marcela's going to ult and they're all going to die. Boom. So yeah. So they got a couple, I think they got to do a little bit of shining as well as Marcel. Sadie just got to sit back and watch. And then, let's see, the Badass versus Moonlight, right? Let's take a look at this. So we've got, looks like no faction group versus a Graveborn group. Alright, let's take a look. And see what happens here. I don't even remember who's going to win this because I wasn't paying attention. So, Elijah, Valara, Rainier, Shamir, Bonnie versus those other guys at the top. The Shamir at the top goes off first. And their Shamir dies. And then, yeah, this one's the one that's going to win, obviously. Because it was never really close. These guys didn't really have a chance against this group. So they're all still alive, too. Alright. So we saw a pretty dominant win from Moonlight there versus the Badass. And he was at a power deficit, and it was still a dominant win. So good for him, right? And, yeah, it looks like the Badass has a pretty badass motorcycle there. Hey, shout out to you, man. That's a pretty cool motorcycle. Alright, moving on. Yeah, you can see the endurance of the guilds here. What happened. Let's see. So, Whitebeard starts off the tall with a nice 6-win streak with the Marcel group. Take a look at his last win, or her last win. Boom. I mean, it was just dominant because Marcel does Marcel things. It's just, oh man, I get frustrated with Marcel, to be honest. I mean, I like her, and I like being able to blow people up like that, but, man, I wish the fights lasted just a little bit longer. Right? There's just nothing that can happen, and if you don't take care of her, she gets out of control. Red K goes on a 2-win, and then Frank comes in with a nice, strong 4-win streak. Very, very strong. Let's take a look at his Shamira on its last win versus Mahira group. It's a Mauler. A Mauler group with Mahira. So he's trying to group them up and stun them there at the beginning. But it doesn't last long enough. But he does get Pandora and Lily May down. But then Shamir goes off, and then Diamond's going to probably clean them up as well here. Well, there's not much left by the time Diamond's going to ult, I think. Well, yeah, Diamond doesn't even get a chance to ult, so. Shamir did most of the heavy lifting there, along with Pandora putting her in the box to get her there, right? So. Nice win by Frank. Alright, so Red K goes on another 2-win streak with the Bonnie Tassie. And then Seraphim comes in with a 5-win streak with Carolina. Let's take a look at this. Alright. Didn't even know Carolina was in any of the groups. Alright. Well, we glitched out. I'm gonna have to restart everything. This has happened to me a few times in the past couple weeks, so I will be right back, guys. Hey, I'm back. Had to reset the game, and I think we've gotten back to the Carolina group. Let's watch the replay. So Vena's in the back slicing them up. Nobody's dead yet. Carolina ults, and then yeah, we get a death there. Phantasmal yanks some people. I think we got another death on the left there, another death, and Harak's the only one left. And Sonya's gonna make quick work of him. Boom, boom, boom. It's a pretty nice little ending animation there with Sonya getting the ult. And it's nice to see Carolina getting some love there, you know? I don't think I have seen her used in PvP in a long time, so that's kind of neat to see her get used and actually get some good streaking too. Alright, so back to melee. So we got our Whitebeard, Frank, and then Seraphim. And then Calico Cat has a nice solid 4-win streak because everybody in the guild is putting in work this morning with the Shamira group. John Ziomi's getting a 3-win streak. Nice solid work with the Shamira again. And then Mashin 93. Or is it Mation? Yeah, another Chimera. So you can see we have a lot of the same groups in the guild. I mean, and that's pretty common for every guild, to be honest. Cardinals running the Bonnie Tassie. Sinner's Wrath gets a nice, very strong 5-win streak with this group. And we've seen a lot of this group, but I haven't shown one on this video, so let's do this one. It's the Siren Faramore group. Some Ravion, Lily May, and Hugin. And you can see it's pretty much everybody stays on their side. Faramore never really gets a chance to move against the smaller group. And they just take them all down.
Who could possibly stand against
Siren is
me?
the star of the show. Well, Lily May is the star of the show, actually. But it's kind of spread out. That's a nice, solid group. We get some love from everybody. Alright. Going down. Calico John. We were on Sinner's Wrath. There we go. And then Mation 93 again. Bailrun group. Let's take a look at that one. See Bailrun do some actual work. Bailrun doesn't get a whole lot of love in PvP, but he's still solid. He still works. He's just not as good as some of the other groups like Marcel and so forth and so on. You see, he's got a bunch of healers for Bailrun to get him charged up. And Fraisto's there to kind of buy Bailrun some time to get charged up.
Hurry! Your delivery's coming up!
But once Bailrun gets charged up, he becomes an absolute monster. And he's got the twins buffing him, and now he's really going. So, right, at this point, it's out of control because Bailrun's fully charged. He's doing a lot of damage. The Phantasmal even got a little bit of a nuking in there. Bonnie's the only thing left. Everybody's going towards Bonnie. Well, actually, no, there's somebody down here. Can't tell who that is. Oh, it's Igor. Igor's going to be the only one left. He's jumping around from gravestone to gravestone, and he's just going to run out of places to hide. Boom! He's immune now. And there he goes, finally, with the big sword stroke there. Alright, that was fun. Bailrun was going all over chasing Igor. Alright, let's check out the rest of these battles. We have some really strong streaks from the guild here. Very pleased to see this, especially from it's so diverse, right? And this is the one we just looked at, right? Nope, this is the Marcel. So we just looked at Nations. Yeah, that's where we were. The 3-win streak. John comes in with a very, very strong 6-win streak, man. Yeah, that's Marcel. What a surprise, you know. It's always Marcel getting those strong streaks. She's so hard to beat. Momosuke comes in with another strong 6-win with Marcel. So Marcel's doing a lot of heavy lifting here. But then Momosuke comes in with a 7-win streak with a different group, and that's the Chimera group. So probably just based on what I'm seeing in these results is that Marcel and that Chimera Pandora are the strongest groups that anybody can run at this point, and then trying to counter those groups is the key, right? Bonnie Tassie's always going to be there as a staple, and Yantron wipes them up at the end. After all our guildies did a bunch of heavy lifting, Yantron comes in with the Sylvena that we've seen in the past several videos. Let's take a quick look at that one again. Sylvena's going to jump back there. They're going to get grouped up, and they're going to move out again. I've seen this several times at this point, so there they are. And they don't even get a chance to move apart. It's just so fast. Boom! That one was domination. And I mean, so he was still streaking hard, and he had a nice dominant win there. So it's like, okay, he probably could have streaked even for another 2, maybe even 3 more games with the strength that he was on. Of course, that was a different. Each group is going to be different, so he may have run into somebody that would have been strong and stopped him on the next game, but I don't know. He was down to 44 stamina, but yeah, he was fighting a 214 million group at that point. So yeah, not a lot of solid teams going on there. And then I'm going up against I didn't even get a chance to fight because my guildmates cleaned up everything so good, you know, and then that's a good problem to have. It's like, oh, I don't get to fight the other guild because my guildmates are doing all the work for me, man, you know, so they cleaned them up. And then I get to streak for 7 against the Trial Guards, you know, and that's my Marcel group. Take a quick look at what I'm doing to the guards right before I die. So we got them charmed. They grouped us up the same way. They group us up again. Marcel's getting the ult. There's just not a lot to see because everybody's so grouped up in this, but yeah. And then, yeah, it looks like Athalia does a lot of damage there, but then Seda never even gets the chance to ult. It's all Marcel and Athalia, and then just a little bit of Mira, and just a teeny tiny bit of Seda. Interesting. And you can see that Marcel almost out-heals my actual healer, Damien. Interesting. Of course, we're going against a computer there, so let's take a look and see if there's anything else worth noting there. I don't think so. I get a 7-win streak and a 3-win streak with another group of mine. Which group was this? Okay, that's my Gala group. So I would really like to see Gala actually fight people, but she's still fighting guards. Yantron, 3-win streak. Ike, 2-win streak. Seraphim, Ike, 3, 3, 3, 2, 3, all against the guards. Alright, and then Senator's Wrath comes in with the last final 40-point victory there. Alright, so we've seen everything except for this last tile. Let's take a quick look at this one, and you can see we only had 7 teams. Domain had 25 teams. So if we were going to lose, we were going to lose this one. I mean, this was going to be the only one that we had a chance to lose, I think, realistically, at our power level, right? And this is where I'm running my experimental Perseus. It's basically a take on the Wilder one, but I don't have the Wilder pieces to make it work, so I throw in Pang, who is P4, almost, he's only 4-star P4. And then I've also couldn't find anything else. I was like, okay, what else can I throw in here that's going to make sense? So what I end up doing is throwing Diamond onto Perseus to buff him a little bit more with the shielding. So that's what I'm ended up doing here, and I don't think this is going to be a good fight to show, but we're going to show it anyway because it's a skirmish battle. I'm going to show a lot of those. Alright, so Perseus is in the back here. He's running up, and everybody is already dying, and it's just over before it even really starts, right?
I will be praised for this.
And in my testing, Pang actually does a little damage. Ravian and Diamond can actually do damage, but in this case, you can see Lily May and Perseus doing a lot of damage. Now, Perseus usually is the main damage for this group, but I have found that there is a good spread of damage with this group, especially against an even-powered opponent, right? So it's kind of well-balanced. It's not like super strong in any way, but it's not like super weak in any way either, which is what I like about it. So it's pretty versatile. So Nami comes in with the Marcel. It's a nice 4-win streak. Because there's only going to be 3 teams here. So Nami starts us off strong, getting a nice 3-win streak after the skirmish battle, right? Loses to Larian. Larian then loses to Wayfarer. Wayfarer gets a 4-win streak. So they've done all the heavy lifting before he even gets to me. They've knocked out 8 teams. I think I'm counting that right. 4-win streaks, right? 8 teams. So that's 8 teams have already been knocked out. So we're looking at 25 minus 8 versus 3 teams, because I'll be the 3rd team jumping in here, right? Oh, no, I'm sorry. Nami gets another streak. So Nami has taken out 4 plus 6-win streak. So 10 teams. Nami's already taken out 10. And Wayfarer has taken out 4. So 14 of those 25 teams are already gone. So there's only 11 teams left. We have 4 teams left when Nami finally loses that last one. Is this worth watching? Let's take a look and see what Nami's running with. It's just Shamira. We've seen several of those. Anyway. Jumps in, Sora beats her, then Sora comes in and runs into me, and this is my Perseus group that just won the skirmish group, and it's done. I get down to 23 before I finally lose. And you can see I'm starting off against teams that are 393. I'm 539, so they're at a huge power deficit at that point because my guildmates have taken out their stronger teams. Like, they've done the heavy lifting for me, and they allow me to come in and just mop them up, right? Because you can see that the power levels are just going down and down and down. And by the time I get to 11-win streak, and you can see what I was talking about, the damage gets spread out. Pang, Ravion, and then Perseus gets a lot of damage. So let's take a look at that one. There's only 3 people in that group, or 4 people in that group. Not sure why they're running a 4-person team, but there you go. And it just gets, it wasn't even really worth watching on hindsight, but you could see Pang doing an ultimate. Might get to see Perseus ult. There he goes. He dies. Okay.
Fall in. Back to camp.
Alright, so moving on. Is there anything else worth talking about? Probably not, because at that point we have gone to the combat trial stage, and Nami had a very strong showing on here, so If anything, Nami would be the MVP for this tile. I'm not sure I want to go so far as to say Nami was the MVP of the whole round, but definitely strong showing on this tile. Got 2 strong streaks and then a very strong streak against the Trial Guards as well. Is that worth watching? Bonnie? Nah, we'll move on. Wayfarer, and then, you know, backup MVP would be Wayfarer, because they did so much heavy lifting before I even got any chances to get in there. All the tough teams are already gone because they did all the work for me, man. It's really, really nice. Yet allows me to shine and look good, right? So shout out to Wayfarer and Nami for making me look good on that tile right there. So very strong outing, and we're in complete control at this point. I mean, not complete control, but we have control over the centerpiece because we own the 2 tiles that are connected to it. So at this point, you know, I think it's pretty obvious, no spoilers to give away here. Domain and Shire are going to try to push to take either this one or this one from us. It's possible they may come up with a sneak attack and try to take one of these side ones from us, you know, either here or here. But, you know, my guild's going to be ready for it. And as you can see, we can play from a deficit pretty strongly with our power levels. Our infantry, shout out to everybody that's in the infantry, because you guys make us Vanguards look really, really good. Appreciate all the love and all the help. Good teamwork. Everybody's being well coordinated by our guild leader. It's just, we're doing really well and doing really strong. So, I mean, I'm not saying we're invincible. We're definitely not. You know, we may run into a guild that is stronger than us eventually, but it has not happened yet. So maybe game 3, game 4, game 5 might be our biggest test when we finally get to that. But hopefully we keep these win streaks growing, and we keep showing you some good video footage of what's going on with our strategies and how our guild works together. So until next time, I wish you good luck on all your guild Clash fronts, and hope you get some victories.